Well, I welcome you once again to another lesson. And in our previous lesson, we started writing our code, our simple code. And in today's lesson, we're going to write more code. And today we are going to deal with cell referencing. And when we talk of cell referencing here, we are talking about in a case whereby you have a data on your VBA and you want to transfer them to your sheet, your Excel sheet. For instance, you have created a form, you want to transfer the data from the form to your Excel sheet. So this is how we are going to do. That's what the term is cell referencing. So let's go straight to our VBA Alt plus F11, and it will take you to a VBA window screen, or you can go to developer tab and then you click on the Visual Basic Foundation. Okay, we already have some code here, so let me just delete this code here. Okay, so we are going to use 4 different methods. So the first method, we are going to use active cell. So let's go to our sheet. So for our sheet, you can see that B2 is our active cell. So you are going to make reference to that active cell. So this is the kind of code you are going to type. You type active cell dot value. That means we want to tell the system that the active cell should have a value, and the value should be equal to. So here you can use a string value, or you can use an integer. So for the first one, let's use a string value. Let's say your roots. Let's use the roots. So remember, I said in a previous video that when you are writing a string, make sure you insert it in between a quote or a double quote. So this one is our active cell. Okay, so let's run this code. Let's run this. We just click on the run button here. So let's just observe this active cell. We click on run, so that the active cell is now having the value of J roots. Okay, so that is how we do it. You can also let's add another code with reference to active cell, but with this we are going to use an integer. Okay, so let's say 100 as an integer. Now let's run the code and see something. So that the moment you run the code, even though we have the roots already there and the integer value which is 100 is also there, but the final value is 100, which is the last line of code. We do not see the roots because it's run and end on the last one. But if you want to see how the code was run, you are going to use something we call step into. So if you come to this side, you have this toolbox here. Let me drag it out so that you see it well. So this is a toolbox. We call it debug toolbox. That's where you are going to use the step into from. So you can, if you don't have it, let's say you don't have it, you go to view, then you go to toolbar, then you click on debug, and you have it here. So you can equally drag it and dock it somewhere on the toolbar here. Okay, so this is the value, or this is the icon we are going to step into. So you just click on, you make sure your cursor is in between the macros or the sub routine, and click on this icon. Now if you click on this icon, we are going to step into it to see systematically how this code run. So we are going to use F8 to run it, or you can just click on this button here to step into it. So let's use F8. So if you click on F8, now this cell, active cell value is equal to your root is now active. So if you click on it, it will run that one. So let's click on it to run it, so that now the active cell is now having the value of the roots. So if you step into it again, it will have the value of 100, then equally then it will end the code. So that is the first step. Now let's go to the second step. The second step, we are going to make reference to a specific cell, not just the active, but a specific cell. So you type bracket, let's say the name of the cell, let's use A2 cell, A2 dot value. Okay, so you equate it to a value. Let's use the roots as the value. Okay, so you can sorry we need to use this bracket, the anchor brackets rather. So we need to use anchor brackets, not just brackets. Sorry, it's A, we use A1. Okay, so we don't use brackets, we use anchor brackets, so take note of that. So let's run it and see. So you see that when you run it, for the first two lines you have already learned the reason why you get 100. I see that for the last one, A1 the value is having the root value there. Okay, so you can also select a range of cells to have a value. So the same way you bring your anchor bracket, then you select the range. Let's say the range is from C1, then you bring your column to the last cell, let's say cell C5. That is the range of cell we want to have a value, we want to place our value. So it could be to have 20 in all the values. Okay, so we can step into it. Look at the sheet, you see that the changes is taking place. So we are now at the last one, cell C1 to C5. It will have the value of what? 20. You see how it is done. So that's the second step. Okay, then let's go to the third method. The third method, we are going to make reference to the row number and the column number. So let's take, for instance, we have this cell, cell B6 is what we want to place our value. Cell B6 has the row number, or row is on row 6 and column 2. So when you come to the code, you type cell, then you bring your brackets. Then you see that we have the row index and the column index here. So the row index, where you want to place ours, let's say you want to place at B6, so the row index will be 6. Then you bring your comma, then the column index will be 2, because B is on the second column, so it will be 2. You close your bracket, then you add your value, dot value, or you can equally ignore it, but I prefer to add it, the value. Then let's say let's add something like academy, okay, as an integer. Then we then run it, so we can step into it. Okay, so let's step back. Okay, so let's step into it and see the effect. Okay, so now we are at the cell C, with row index 6 and column index 2, and the value will be what? Academy. So let's step into it and see. You see that it is having the value there. So this is another way of doing that. You can also use you can also change the column index and based on where you want to place your value. Okay, now let's take the last step, which is commonly used. That's the range. So let's use the range. So with this, you're going to type range, then you bring your bracket, then you make reference to the cell name. You're not making reference to the column index or the row index, but this with the cell name, the actual cell name. So for instance, we want to, let me push this one, so we want to place it in D. So we want our values to be in cell D1. Cell D1. So you bring your range, then you bring your quote, then type D1 as the cell reference, the cell that you are making reference to. Then you bring your dot value. Okay, so you equate it to the value that you want to place. Let's say you want to place an integer, or let's say a float. Let's add a float to 12.3. Okay, so let's step into it. Sorry. So let's step into it. Okay, so if you click on it, you see that it's having a D1 is having the cell. So you can also use that. So with this method, you can also use range, a list of, or a group of cells with the same method, range. So let's check that one to range. Then you bring your quotes. Then with this, you select the group of range. Let's say from E1. You want to fill from E1 to through to let's say E5. E5. Then you close your bracket. Then you bring your dot value. Okay, then you add your value. So let's say let me use my name. Let's say appear. Okay, and don't forget it is a string, so you don't forget to add the quotes. So now let's step into it and see the effect. So you start from active cell, you go through to making reference to a specific cell, then the column index and the row index, then get to the range. Now a group of cell E1 to E5. So let's watch this row. So you want to step into it, you see that it will have the value of the data. So this is how we make cell references in VBA. You can use this when you get to the advanced, where you start with the user form. You can use this one to as a registration form. You create your registration form, and it will help you to store your data in your database. So this is how we do it. Okay, so we'll end here. In our next video, we are going to do more coding. Thank you all and enjoy your day. Bye bye.